Good evening. You're watching the news tonight, your daily roundup of all that has happened across India and the world. I'm Ishan Russell and these are the headlines that we're tracking this evening. Mumbai Airport, Siddhivinayak Temple and Bhabha Atomic Research Centre were on the target list for the 26/11 attacks. David Coleman-Headley tells the Mumbai court on day 4 of his deposition by video conference. Centre warns of stringent action against anti-national activity after a protest by students of Delhi's Jawaharlal University against execution of Parliament attacker Afzal Guru. Left decries police action as unjustified. Lance Naik Hanumanthappa accorded a state funeral at his native place in Karnataka. Thousands gathered to pay their last respects. World powers agreed to seek a nationwide cessation of hostilities in Syria to begin in a week's time after talks in Munich, Germany. There's also an agreement to accelerate and expand aid deliveries to the war-ravaged country. And retail inflation up to its highest level in 17 months, driven up by higher food costs. Stock markets end the week with a minor improvement, with the Sensex posting its biggest weekly fall in 7 years. The top story this evening, on day 4 of the deposition of 26/11 mastermind David Coleman-Headley via video conference in a Mumbai court. Headley today claimed that the Mumbai Airport, Siddhivinayak Temple and even the Bhabha Atomic Research Centre were among targets initially on the target list for the 26/11 siege. Here's more on the sensational revelations.
It's a process that has gone on since the beginning of the week, each day further revealing the depth of the ISI-LET nexus in the planning of the 26/11 attacks. Headley continued his deposition at the Mumbai Sessions Court via video conference from the US. In today's deposition, Headley claimed he had discouraged the LET from attacking the Naval Air Station and the Siddhivinayak Temple at Mumbai, as both were heavily guarded. Also, the Lashkar-e-Taiba was unhappy that the Mumbai airport was not one of the targets. He revealed that he had taken videos of the Bhabha Atomic Research Centre and handed the footage to Major Iqbal of the Pakistan Intelligence Agency ISI. Major Iqbal had allegedly suggested that Headley recruit for the ISI from BARC. He also said the National Defence College in Delhi was on the radar of the LET and Al-Qaeda. Headley told the court he had bought red and yellow sacred threads from the Siddhivinayak Temple as a cover for the attackers, so people would think they were Hindus. The 26/11 mastermind also said he had conducted extensive recce's of the Shiv Sena Bhavan in Mumbai during his 7 visits to the city. He passed on his findings to Lashkar commander Zakiur Rahman Lakhvi, Sajid Mir and other terrorists. The depositions are to continue.
David Headley's testimony is in relation to the Mumbai terrorist attack, and the testimony is self-explanatory. We have always maintained that it is up to Pakistan to investigate and expose fully the conspiracy in Pakistan behind the Mumbai terrorist attack and to bring all concerned to justice. Headley's deposition once again confirms this view, if any confirmation was needed after Ajmal Kasab's confession.
In the past few weeks, Headley has revealed details about the ISI's collaboration with terror group Lashkar-e-Taiba for the 26/11 attack. He'd even said Ishrat Jahan, the woman killed in an encounter in Ahmedabad, was an LET operative. Experts have said the deposition cannot be taken entirely at face value. It can, however, suggest to the world the direction of investigations ahead. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
And former Pakistan President Pervez Musharraf has seemingly reinforced the ISI terror nexus. Musharraf outrightly said yesterday that Pakistan's inter-services intelligence trains terrorists of Jaish-e-Mohammed and Lashkar-e-Taiba. Talking to a private TV network in India, Musharraf described Masood Azhar and of the JEM as a terrorist, while pointing out that Hafiz Saeed of the LET was nothing short of a national hero in Pakistan. Despite this, Musharraf said India was responsible for stalling the peace process. Musharraf said terror attacks in India will not stop until New Delhi addresses what he called the core issue of Kashmir. On Headley's deposition, Musharraf said he refuses to believe it, calling for Headley to be interrogated by Pakistan's intelligence. Reports say that the former Pakistan president was taken to a Karachi hospital as he fainted soon after the interview and his condition turned critical. Moving on now, the centre has warned of strong action against students of Delhi's Jawaharlal University protesting against the hanging of Parliament attack convict Afzal Guru. Police yesterday arrested a student union leader, filing cases of sedition and criminal conspiracy. An FIR was also filed against Delhi University professor S.A.R. Gilani, the main organizer of the protest event at JNU on Wednesday.
Tension on the JNU campus as ABVP members protest outside the office of the Vice-Chancellor against Wednesday's program by university students. At that event, students had described the execution of 2001 Parliament attack convict Afzal Guru as a judicial killing. Police arrested a JNU student union leader today. A case of sedition and criminal conspiracy has been filed after anti-India slogans were allegedly raised at the event. The Home Minister said he had instructed the police to take strong possible action, saying the government would not tolerate any anti-national activity in the country.
मैं समझता हूं देश में यदि कोई भी भारत विरोधी नारे लगाता है अथवा भारत की एकता, अखंडता, संप्रभुता पर सवालिया निशान लगाने की कोशिश करता है तो उसे किसी भी सूरत में माफ नहीं किया जा सकता। और जेएनयू में जो कुछ भी हुआ है इसके लिए मैंने पुलिस कमिश्नर दिल्ली को जो भी आवश्यक इंस्ट्रक्शंस देने चाहिए वो मैंने इंस्ट्रक्शंस दिया है और उनके विरुद्ध कठोर कार्रवाई होनी चाहिए और कठोर कार्रवाई होगी।
The university said the students had gone ahead with the program even after permission to hold it was withdrawn by the administration. The VC called it an act of indiscipline. Left parties have questioned the arrest of the JNU-SU president, demanding that Delhi police not act in what they called connivance with ABVP. They likened ongoing developments in the varsity campus to situations during emergency.
Delhi police should not act in haste. If some elements raised anti-India slogans, we strongly condemn that and let law take its course, let law enforcing authorities act in accordance to the law of the land. We have no objection. But in the name of fighting those elements, they should not target the entire left.
This is not the first time JNU, one of the country's top academic institutions, has witnessed events in support of Afzal Guru. The battle lines are old ones. They have just intensified again. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now, there's some relief for Congress President Sonia Gandhi and Vice President Rahul Gandhi from the Supreme Court in the National Herald case, in that they no longer need to appear in court in person. It allowed a plea by Congress leaders to exempt them from personal appearance before the magistrate, saying their presence would only cause inconvenience. The bench added, however, that the Congress leaders can be summoned as and when required by the trial court. The Gandhis have filed a plea in the Supreme Court on the matter early this month. The last hearing was held in December. The case is to be heard next on the 20th of February. The Apex Court clarified, however, it would not interfere with the High Court order, asking 5 Congress leaders, including Sonia and Rahul, to face trial over charges of cheating and criminal breach of trust. The Siachen Braveheart Lance Naik Hanumantappa Kopad was cremated with full state honours today at his hometown in Karnataka, a day after he breathed his last at Delhi's Army Hospital. Thousands gathered in Betadur village in Dharwad district of Karnataka to bid farewell to the Braveheart, who died 4 days after he was miraculously rescued alive from the Siachen glacier. His colleagues from the Madras Regiment, Chief Minister Siddaramaiah, state ministers and leaders, and thousands of locals joined the hero's final journey. Lance Naik Hanumantappa is survived by his wife and a 2-year-old daughter. 9 of his comrades were also found dead days after the avalanche on this glacier on the 3rd of February.
The investiture ceremony comes in the shadow of the tragedy at Siachen. We grieve for our fallen comrades, but also salute the indomitable spirit of the Indian soldier, as exemplified by Lance Naik Hanumantappa, and the heroism of the rescue party. We are also extremely grateful to the people of this country who rose as one in prayer and tribute to the martyrs of Siachen.
Now, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has lauded the role of Indian scientists in the historic detection of gravitational waves. In fact, in a series of tweets, the Prime Minister expressed pride in Indian scientists and their role and said the landmark finding opens up new frontiers of understanding the universe. In the announcement, which has electrified the world of astronomy, scientists claim they've finally detected gravitational waves and their ripples in the fabric of space-time that Einstein predicted a century ago. 60 Indian scientists from 9 institutes were part of the League of Scientific Collaboration that is involved in research and analysis of data generated from the detector. The Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who is on a 3-day visit to India, visited the Bombay Stock Exchange in Mumbai today. He also met Indian business leaders. An agreement between Exim Bank of India and Dubai Economic Council was signed. India is keen to tap investments of nearly $75 billion from the UAE. India and the UAE signed 7 agreements yesterday during the Delhi leg of the Crown Prince's visit in the areas of cybersecurity, infrastructure, investment and other areas. The UAE is the 3rd largest trading partner of India after the US and China. Crown Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan returns to the UAE tomorrow after a 3-day visit to India. Time now for some more national news story from around the country nationwide. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Akhilesh Yadav today presented a supplementary state budget of 3.46 lakh crore rupees. The budget, which is an increase of 14.6% over last year, aims to address the aspirations of all sections of society and the regional balance. Yadav earmarked 814 crore rupees for Lucknow Metro and 50 crore each for the proposed metro rail in Varanasi and Kanpur. Experts have termed it a populist budget ahead of assembly polls in the state in 2017. Kerala Chief Minister Oomen Chandy presented the budget for the current fiscal year with an aggregate plan outlay of nearly 30,500 crore rupees, amid strong protest by the opposition. It was after a 29-year gap that the Kerala Assembly saw a Chief Minister presenting the state budget. The LDF members holding banners and placards raised slogans while the Chief Minister continued with the budget presentation. The LDF members then marched out of the House. 24-year-old Snapdeal employee Deepthi Sarna, who went missing on Wednesday, has returned home. Sarna told the police she was kidnapped by 4 people at knife point in fact. She, however, does not want to press charges as she was not harmed in any way. A 200-men strong manhunt and massive media coverage was on to locate Deepthi Sarna after she went missing. The 300-kilometer-long Jammu-Srinagar National Highway remained closed for the 2nd consecutive day today due to landslides triggered by snowfall. No traffic was allowed from Srinagar and Jammu as a precautionary measure. Border Roads Organisation personnel are working to clear the highway for traffic. Time for us to take a short break. There's lots more on the other side. Do stay tuned.
Dynein motors, their function is proportional to their number. You need the same motor to do many different kinds of things inside the cell, and you may be able to tune that function just by tuning the number of the motor. This particular molecule, cholesterol, seems to be the basis on which these large teams are assembled.
Watch Eureka with Dr. Roop Malik, Associate Professor, TIFR, only on Rajya Sabha TV.
That clock ticked through the night. So much happened as you slept. So much you missed.
Wake up to a complete roundup of news from India and abroad. Politics, strategy, business, sports. Keen analysis to kickstart your day. Watch Breakfast News weekdays at 8 a.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
The Harappan period is also called the Bronze Age. extensive collections from the era show the Indus artists were not only well versed in techniques of metallurgy but also innovations in dance and performing arts. Best seen in the famous Mohenjo-daro relic, the Indus dancing girl. No impressive is the man drawing a bullock cart depicting agriculture activities. Bronze elephants, on the other hand, show domesticated animals used for transport.
Welcome back. You're watching the news tonight. Now, former Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh has criticised the centre for its economic policy. Singh said the government has not been able to benefit from falling oil prices and fortuitous circumstances to boost the rate of investment in the country. In his first media interview after demitting office, the former Prime Minister said the shrinking of the economy was worrying him as the government is not able to get its act together to persuade the business community to take advantage. He said the economy is not in as good a shape as it could be, despite the fact that the situation today is much more favourable than it was when we, that is the Congress-led UPA, were in government. The former Prime Minister pointed out that the rate of investment in India now was as low as 32%, down 3 percentage points from 35% when the Congress was at the peak of its power. Some international news now, and after a week's stalemate on taking forward the Syria peace talks, world leaders today agreed to seek cessation of hostilities in the war-torn country. They've agreed to step up the humanitarian aid delivery to besieged towns at the earliest. Countries, including the United States and Russia, reaffirmed their commitment to a political transition in Syria as they met at the 52nd Munich Security Conference in Germany.
And I'm pleased to say that as a result, today in Munich, we believe we have made progress on both the humanitarian front and the cessation of hostilities front. And these two fronts, this progress, has the potential, fully implemented, fully followed through on, to be able to change the daily lives of the Syrian people.
The US Secretary of State John Kerry, alongside his Russian counterpart Sergei Lavrov, making all-out efforts to hammer out a deal for war-torn Syria. They have agreed to set up a task force to implement the agreements and decide on further course of action. It will be co-chaired by Russia and the United States. Syrian ally Russia, however, said it would not stop airstrikes in Syria, as they remained adamant on their stand that they continue to target terrorist havens in Syria. Lavrov placed responsibility on the Syrian opposition to meet their obligations and allow humanitarian access.
Теперь, когда мы записали необходимость комплексного решения всех этих проблем, я надеюсь, что и у оппозиции, и у тех, кто контролирует ее различные группы, не будет больше причин для того, чтобы отлынивать от своих обязательств. Мы, как сказал Джон, договорились создать...
Syria's main opposition welcomed the Munich plan of action, but with a word of caution that the agreement must prove to be effective before they join political talks with the government representatives in Geneva.
We welcome the effort that our friends are making to relieve the Syrian people, and must be for all Syrians. We must see action on the ground. If we see action and implementation, we will see you very soon in Geneva.
Talks comes at a crucial juncture with no respite in sight for Syria. Assad forces have stepped up their offensive against rebels in Aleppo to capture the strategic town. The conflict further led to a surge in refugees at border camps near Turkey. The first peace talks in 2 years between warring sides in Syria collapsed last week, even before they began. Now the world leaders are hopeful of securing at least a ceasefire, if not a political transition in the near future. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
A brawl between rival drug gangs at a jail in northern Mexico turned into a riot on Thursday, leaving 49 inmates dead and 12 injured in the country's deadliest prison melee in years. Relatives of the concerned inmates clashed with the police, charging that the prison was overcrowded. After the riot, security has been beefed up at other prisons in Mexico as well.
a late-night fight between two rival gangs, spiraling into a massive prison riot at Monterrey in northern Mexico that left 49 people dead. 12 others were injured, 5 of them critically. Prisoners fought with weapons, bats and sticks and set fires in 2 areas inside. Officials insist no inmates escaped.
Quiero subrayar que queda descartada la existencia de fuga alguna o intento de esta, así como el uso de armas de fuego. Como parte del protocolo aplicable se estableció un cerco de seguridad alrededor del centro penitenciario.
However, the drama did not end there. Crowds of relatives worried about their loved ones protested outside the jail, blocked roads demanding information. Some threw sticks and rocks at the police and shoved at a line of officers standing. Many tried to pull the prison gate open as riot police blocked their way. Relatives say the prison was overcrowded, a charge substantiated by a National Human Rights Commission report of 2014.
Lamentablemente es desesperante porque ¿cómo es posible que ahorita sí se pongan en contra de nosotros queriéndonos empujar y cosas así cuando realmente ellos no debieron de haber permitido esto que está pasando en este momento?
3 inmates were stabbed to death at the same prison in Monterrey in February 2012. Gang violence and breakouts are common in Mexico's notoriously overcrowded prison system. The latest clashes come just a day before Pope Francis arrives in Mexico. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Now for some more international news now in Global Buzz. The death toll from the earthquake that struck southern Taiwan last Saturday climbed to 94 today. There are 30 people still missing, officials said. All the search operations continue. Rescuers are pessimistic about finding any more survivors. A report released by the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction puts India among the top 3 most disaster-hit countries in 2015. India had 19 events of natural disasters, including floods, droughts and heat waves in 2015. The economic loss to the state was more than $3 billion from these disasters. This number was only exceeded by China with 26 natural disasters and the US with 22 natural disasters last year. Pope Francis left Rome early today to travel to Cuba, where he will hold a landmark meeting with Russian Orthodox Patriarch Kirill. The meeting between the Pope and Kirill is a step forward towards healing the 1,000-year-old rift between eastern and western branches of Christianity. The 2 religious leaders will meet at Havana's International Airport on the Pope's way to Mexico. French President François Hollande shuffled his cabinet on Thursday ahead of the 2017 presidential elections. He brought back former Prime Minister Ayrault to his cabinet to replace Laurent Fabius as Foreign Affairs Minister. Fabius will now head the French Constitutional Council. Other key portfolios remain unchanged in the reshuffle. News from the business world now, and India's annual consumer price inflation is up to a 17-month high to 5.69% in January. This driven up by higher food costs. Retail food prices last month were up 6.85% year-on-year compared with a 6.40% recorded in December. Prices of pulses in particular showed a sharp spike. In some urban areas, prices surged nearly 50% from last year. The Indian stock markets recovered marginally today after they plunged over 1,600 points over the last 4 days. The rupee had dipped to a 29-month low this week against the dollar, recovered 10 paise today. Market experts say the sharp fall in Indian stock markets is a reflection of the poor global sentiment that has caused markets worldwide to dip sharply.
The reasons, if we get into that this week's fall, what we witness in our markets, are entirely, I would blame it on internal factors rather than external. External, yes, China slowdown, European problem, American interest rate hike, uncertainty, all these are okay. But this week, what we witnessed in the market was solely because of internal reasons. Banking sectors, PSU banks came out with the results. They were disasters.
Some sports now, and on day 7 of competitions at the 12th South Asian Games, India again excelled in athletics and shooting. In the track and field events, India claimed 10 gold, 7 silver and 1 bronze, while Indian shooters bagged 5 gold, 3 silver and 2 bronze. Gold medals came in women's 200, 1500 and 10,000 meters races, javelin throw, men's triple jump and shot put as well. In shooting, men's and women's 50 meters rifle prone individual and team events and men's 25-meter center fire pistol bagged the yellow medal. India clinched a gold and a silver each in the men's singles and women's doubles tennis. India has already broken its South Asian Games record of most number of gold medals at the multi-nation event. India won 118 gold in the 2006 edition. It now has already 140 gold, 78 silver and 20 bronze medals with 5 days still remaining. Sri Lanka are a distant second with 25 goals, followed by Pakistan at number 3 with 7 goals, and Bangladesh is fourth with 4 gold medals. Some more sports action now in Sports Beat. Tainted Pakistani umpire Asad Rauf has been banned for 5 years by the BCCI after a disciplinary committee found him guilty of corrupt practices and bringing the game into disrepute. Rauf was part of the ICC's elite panel and officiated in test matches, was accused of accepting expensive gifts from bookies, besides placing bets on IPL matches in the 2013 edition. Former FIFA Secretary-General Jerome Walk has been banned from all soccer-related activity for 12 years by the governing body's Ethics Committee on Friday. The Ethics Chamber says Walk was found guilty of misconduct related to the use of private jets for personal use, destroying evidence in the sale of World Cup television rights. He'd been suspended since last September. Sunderland banned Adam Johnson after he pleaded guilty to sexual activity with a child. Adam's contract was terminated hours after he was dropped for Saturday's Premier League match against Manchester United. He will stand trial next Friday on 2 further counts of sexual misbehaviour, which he denies. Rafael Nadal returned to action Thursday for the first time since his shock first-round exit from the Australian Open with a straight sets win over Juan Monaco in the ATP Argentina Open. Defending champion Nadal dropped his serve 3 times but broke Monaco in the final game of each set to emerge with a 6-4, 6-4 victory in 98 minutes. Former Grand Slam finalist Dominika Cibulkova defeated Caroline Wozniacki 6-4, 7-5 to reach the quarterfinal of the St. Petersburg Ladies Trophy on Sunday. The loss for the Dane is her second straight first match loss after losing the first round at the Australian Open. Cibulkova, the Australian Open losing finalist in 2014, next placed Daria Kastarkina in the quarterfinals. Well, that's the news tonight, but as we go, we'll leave you with this. The paradisical Mughal garden inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan was open to the public today. It's open till the 20th of next month. In fact, President Pranab Mukherjee inaugurated the Udyanotsav, the annual garden festival. We leave you with these visuals.